Okay, let's record this one. Bernie?
You know, it is kind of funny. When politicians, the media, talk about Russia
Politicien.
and Vladimir Putin, they often
Vladimir
use the word
Putin.
oligarchy. They
Yeah,
talk about
right.
how the oligarchs of Russia have enormous power under Putin.
Enormous, huh?
But strangely enough,
Let that
the term
sink in.
oligarchy is very rarely used to describe what's happening in the United States,
Yeah,
or in fact, what's happening around the world.
the world.
But guess what? Oligarchy is a global phenomenon, and it is headquartered right here in the United States.
Well,
The
actually,
fact of the matter is,
the fact
we don't
of the
talk
matter-
about it very much, but this is the reality.
Mhm.
A small number of incredibly wealthy billionaires
Yeah.
own and control much of the global economy, period. End of discussion.
Yeah,
And
well,
increasingly,
source.
they own and control our government through a corrupt campaign finance system.
Corrupt.
Since 2020, 5 billion people all over the world
Five.
have become poorer, while the world's 5 richest billionaires have more than doubled their fortunes
Oh,
at a
really?
rate of $14 million per hour.
Oh,
And listen to this.
this.
Elon Musk, the world's wealthiest man, has added 120 billion to his
Whoa, huh?
fortune just since election day. Got that?
Yeah.
120 billion since
Indeed.
election day. While Jeff Bezos,
The
number 2 guy,
check, huh?
he only became $67 billion richer in the last month.
Yeah.
And Mark Zuckerberg, he became 90 billion richer this year alone. In other words, the people on top who are already phenomenally rich are becoming incredibly richer.
Maybe.
Over the past decade, the wealthiest 1% of the global population amassed $42 trillion in new wealth,
Oh, yeah.
while the wealth of the bottom half of society barely budged.
Well,
In fact, as of today, the top 1% owns more wealth than 95% of the people on this earth.
oh,
Outrageously, the wealthiest people in the world
oh.
are stashing up to 32 trillion in
Yeah.
offshore tax havens like the Cayman Islands in order to avoid paying their fair share
Really?
of taxes to governments all over the world. In
Oh.
other words, governments are underfunded, and these people
The
stash
world.
trillions in tax havens.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the uber rich
Meanwhile.
do spend money to protect their incredible wealth.
Yeah.
They do it by buying influence, and increasingly by buying our elections.
Yeah.
Billionaires in the United States are 0.0005% of the population. That ain't a lot of people. Yet they accounted for 18% of 2024 electoral spending. Tiny number of people spending huge amounts of money to buy elections. Just 150 billionaire families
Yeah.
spent nearly $2 billion to buy our recent elections. Elon Musk alone spent at least $277 million to back Donald
He did,
Trump.
huh?
How's that? One guy.
How's that?
$277 million.
One guy.
And we saw the results of that investment.
Oh, you did?
Working pretty good for him. The major defense contractors spent over $38 million this election cycle. And you know what? They're going to have $1 trillion military budget with enormous amounts of waste and fraud
Well,
in it. And APAC, a billionaire-funded super PAC, spent over $100 million
they did, huh?
to defeat members of Congress
Scientists from the
critical
Kavli Institute
the
of Delft
extremist
University of
right-wing
Technology and the Indiana
Netanyahu
Biocenter
government
have
in
discovered
Israel
a new
and the
property of the
horrific
molecular
war they are
motors that shape
waging
our
in Gaza.
chromosomes.
My friends, you don't have to be a PhD in political science to understand that this is not democracy.
Yeah.
This is not one person, one vote. This is not all of us coming together to decide our future.
This is,
This is oligarchy. In my view,
information.
this issue of oligarchy is the most important issue facing our
Well-
country and the world because it touches on everything else. It touches on climate
Well.
change, touches on healthcare,
Yeah.
touches on whether or not working
The
people are going to
universe.
have a decent standard of living, touches on
Universe.
whether or not we can eliminate poverty.
That too.
And what we are going to be doing now is over the coming months, we are going to be doing a number of programs exploring how global oligarchy functions,
Yeah.
the power that the very, very rich have over our economy and over our political life. We're going to be talking about the tax havens they use and how they avoid paying their fair share of taxes.
That too.
And we will be talking about the kind of role that the oligarchs will play in the coming Trump administration. We're going to bring forth some of the really
Yes.
smartest people in this country and around the world who know
Around the
about this
world.
issue. So it's important
Pioneering
stuff,
the quantum
and I hope you
frontier.
will follow along.
Oh,
Take
I
care.
do.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.